Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Prepping the plants. Detroit's automakers know they can't make vehicles right now, so they're focusing on making factories safer.
He beat the odds, and now it's time to celebrate. This man has one of the most remarkable COVID-19 survival stories you can imagine. Thanks for being with us for the news here at 6 as we bring you the latest information on the COVID-19 crisis.
As we told you at 5 o'clock, the state did not release numbers of cases or deaths from the virus today due to what they're calling a glitch in the reporting system. However, in her news conference today, Governor Whitmer said there has been a spike in cases on the west side of the state and in rural areas up north.
U.S. Representative Paul Mitchell has filed a lawsuit against Governor Whitmer, claiming she stepped beyond the authority of her office when she issued the stay home, stay safe order for Michiganders. And there's likely to be more litigation. State GOP leaders say they could file their own lawsuit against the governor as soon as Wednesday.
Meantime, Governor Whitmer says she's staying focused on the task at hand, the virus itself. And a big part of that is getting a lot more testing supplies.
She was asked today about an assertion made by the White House that Whitmer hasn't made clear what the state needs.
Have you made it clear to the president that the state needs more swabs and reagents?
Repeatedly.
And any additional information that you're receiving from the federal government on if we'll receive those things?
I believe that we've got some swabs that are going to be coming in from the federal government. They're not here yet, and that's why we're not going to stop making sure that people understand we still have needs that haven't been met. Same with reagents. Now, I can't say that we know that we've got some coming in this week, but that is a critical component to ramping up our tests. As Dr. J said, on Friday we did over 11,000 tests. We need to be doing that every single day. We should be doing about 1% to 2% of our population per week. We've got, to get to between 100 and 200,000 people a week in Michigan. We're not near that yet. We're getting closer, but those reagents are a critical component of it. And so, yes, I have reiterated that every single time that I have an opportunity to interface with the White House.
And the governor said we can expect to hear in the coming days about the next round of businesses that could be cleared to open.
She says those decisions are still being made with time in between each phase to evaluate numbers and cases and other data.
Well, a welcome sight in Detroit today. Crews that maintain city parks were back at it, cutting the grass with social distancing measures in place, of course. This crew said they hope to get between 5 and 8 parks done per day.
They were among the first workers brought back by the city of Detroit who weren't listed as essential under the governor's stay-at-home order. Mayor Duggan says other types of workers will be phased back in to indoor and office settings, but only after changes are made to ensure their safety.
There are jobs, particularly in the IT department, some of the finance departments, you can do them just as well from home as the office. Those folks ought to stay home for the long term. But those who have to come back, literally, Dr. Dunn has walked the different offices and has said, you can't bring people in this office. The cubicles are too close together. These are the changes you're going to have to make. So we are not rushing anybody back to work unless we're sure that it is medically safe.
The mayor also said that by July, he thinks some Detroit offices could be doing a rotating schedule where half the employees work on site and half work remotely, and then the two halves switch week by week.
Interesting. All right, well, tonight we have the privilege of bringing you a story of survival against remarkable odds.
We know that when COVID-19 patients are put on ventilators, their chances of survival drop dramatically. And that's why some people are calling Anthony Moses a miracle man. He spent 30 days on a vent and another 20 days regaining his strength at a rehab facility.
Incredible. Well, Grant Herms was there for Anthony's big reunion after 50 days away from his family.
A month ago, we met Tony Moses. He spent 30 days on a ventilator, and today, after spending 50 days without his family, they reunited.
That's her. It's been a long road back for 63-year-old Anthony Moses, the first COVID-19 patient to be sent to Beaumont Hospital in Farmington Hills. Anthony's battle against the virus was a difficult one. Spending a month on a ventilator, kidney and lung failure, and at one point technically dying. But today, he's going home.
I'm just thrilled that this day has finally come. It's been a long time coming, over 50 days, almost 2 months since I last touched my husband.
After spending so much time bedridden, Anthony could barely walk until he was moved to a rehabilitation hospital where today family, friends, and those who took care of him waited anxiously to send him home. For his wife, Tiffany, the past 5 weeks have been a test of faith.
I said, Lord, if he dies, how do you get the glory? I said, you can't get any glory if he passes away.
Tiffany says her prayers were answered, and after waiting just 6 weeks, 1 day and 14 hours, and 30 long minutes, Anthony was finally wheeled into the lobby. Anthony credits his faith for his recovery, but also his wife, who he saw tell his story on Local 4 last month.
And that really got me over the edge. It got me to where I really wanted to carry on, had this big smile on my face.
He also had a special message for those healthcare workers who saved his life.
Everybody in the hospital said, "You're a hero, you're a hero." I said, "I'm not the hero, why are you saying that?" Then I said, "No, I'm not the hero, you guys are the heroes."
A trip home at long last for a man who many called a walking miracle.
Anthony still has a lot of recovery to do, but this time he won't be alone. He'll be with his family. He says he wants to get back to work. He's an IT guy right now. He says he wants to become a preacher. Grant Herms, Local 4.
Wow. Yeah, well, Anthony said he will never forget the doctors and nurses who helped him recover. He said he plans to visit them as soon as he's back to full health.
Oh, amazing story. Well, one of the most important economic considerations across Michigan, even the nation, is when will the auto plants reopen? The domestic three certainly want to get open as soon as possible, but what will that look like? With some answers, we turn to Local 4 business editor Rod Maloney. He is live this evening in Warren with the very latest. Rod, what are you hearing?
Well, I'm hearing that it could be a while still, Karen. Now, here's the deal. Today was the date not so long ago that Chrysler wanted to open its plants, but that got pushed ahead. And now they're eyeing May 18th because it's the Monday after the current stay-at-home order. But will that happen? A lot of questions. The Warren truck plant's looking quite different these days. A giant white tent covers the plant entrance with a sign saying, "Let's restart and keep each other safe." Here, thousands of auto workers will eventually return. As it stands right now, none of the domestic three is willing to say precisely when the assembly plants will open, making the 18th more unlikely. But we know a couple of things about the auto business. First, it uses a global, just-in-time supply chain currently shut down. Second, in order to have the assembly plants open on the 18th, the supplier plants, both foreign and domestic, would have to be open days and preferably even a week before the assembly plants. So far, that's not looking likely. It's also important to point out the United Auto Workers are not interested in its membership going back to work while the current stay-at-home order is in place. Yet all of this could change if the governor decides to loosen the reins on her stay-at-home order. Let there be no doubt the pressure's on for that to happen.
Have you traveled internationally by air or cruise in the last 14 days?
When the auto plants do start up again, it's likely to look quite similar to this. Local 4 went into the General Motors transmission plant just over a week ago where they're making face masks. And like you see here, employees, whether blue or white collar, will have to wear company-provided masks and undergo health pre-screening and temperature checks before entering any company building. And they will go to vastly different workstations the entire industry is now altering. Now, what we're hearing is that all of the car companies are looking to put up partitions inside the plants, and they have much more cleaning, disinfecting in terms of where the workstations are going to be. In order to get in the plant, you have to go in one entrance and come out the other. They're going to be staggering shifts. And so there's a lot at play here, a lot to happen, and they're still in the early planning stages of all of this. And like I said in the piece there, we're going to have to wait for the supplier plants to get up and running before the assembly plants like this one could get back online. Back to you.
So many pieces to juggle here. Now, we know there are a lot of workstations where social distancing just really isn't physically possible. So how are they handling that, Rod?
Well, there's been much discussion about this, Karen, and depending on the company, they're going to be doing things that are going to require more PPE. For instance, Ford is telling me that they're going to require workers who have to be close together to not only have a mask, but a face shield and other stronger requirements like that. So it is being taken into consideration. This is going to take some time to ramp up. It's also going to take some time for the auto workers themselves to figure out how to navigate this, because the lines are going to be long getting inside.
Oh, most definitely. All right. Thank you, Rod.
Indeed. Okay. Well, today is Melanoma Monday, an annual event designed to raise awareness of the most deadly form of skin cancer. While the coronavirus is clearly top of mind when it comes to health risks, our Dr. Frank McGeorge, though, is here to explain why it's still important not to ignore other issues, including those involving your skin.
I know a lot of people are outside enjoying the sunshine over the weekend and have a sunburn to show for it. Even in this pandemic, local dermatologists want patients to know detecting melanoma early is still critical.
The longer you wait to treat a melanoma, the worse the 5-year survival.
Dr. Stephen Grecken says a few days delay won't make a difference, but a couple months can.
As we're now coming into week 7, 8, 9, it does cause some people to be alarmed, especially if they have lesions of concern.
While many skin issues can be addressed with telehealth or high-quality photos, some can't.
Lesions that are concerning, I really believe, need an examination in person, and also you want to have it examined by a dermatoscope. So this is a handheld microscope that lets us look through the skin surface and really see what's going on.
If you have a skin lesion that's changing in size, shape, color, or texture, or looks swollen or red, call your dermatologist. And if you're heading outdoors, don't forget the sunscreen.
Exposure to ultraviolet radiation is, in fact, doubling our risk of getting a melanoma. So unprotected sunbathing, no matter how great it makes us feel, especially after we've been quarantined at home all this time, it's of the utmost importance that we apply sunscreen every time we're going to be out in the sun.
Dr. Grecken's office is seeing a limited number of patients for situations that can't wait. Now, in addition to wearing PPE and new cleaning procedures, they're also having patients wait in their cars until their appointment and then walk directly into an exam room. And that's something you'll see at most doctors' offices moving forward. Back to you.
Indeed. All right. Thanks, Doc. And the Skin Cancer Foundation says just one blistering sunburn in childhood increases the risk of melanoma later in life. So make sure your kids know sunscreen is a must before heading out to play.
In a Local 4 News update, Nestle Water has won a key decision in its effort to pump more water from a well in western Michigan. The Michigan Citizens for Water Conservation and the Grand Traverse Band of Ottawa and Chippewa Indians challenged a state permit approved back in 2018 by former Governor Rick Snyder. Well, last week, a judge upheld the permit that allows Nestle to pump 400 gallons a minute from a well in Osceola County. The water is then trucked to an Ice Mountain production facility in Mecosta County. Judge Dan Poulter says the higher pumping rate is reasonable under common law principles of water law in Michigan.
Well, this has been one of those days when it looks a lot warmer outside than it actually is. Ben?
Especially compared to where we were over the weekend, Kim and Karen. And when we get into the rest of the week, it's not going to resemble that at all. We'll look at potential record lows and possibly snow coming up.
Some local stores raising prices, taking advantage of consumers during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'll show you what's being done to stop them.